This a game that has been sold out since the start of the season in the driving rainstorm here tonight. A capacity crowd better than 20,000 still making their way into American Airlines Arena in South Florida for the second meeting of the regular season between the Los Angeles Lakers and the Miami Heat. Miami at 50-16 and a virtual tie with San Antonio and Phoenix for the best record in the NBA. They won 10 straight, 13 straight at home. They're on a tear while the Lakers are battling to make it to the postseason. Hi, everybody. Marv Albert along with Doug Collins, Steve Kerr, Greg Sager will be working the sidelines. A look at the McDonald's starting lineups up front. A couple of former members of the Miami Heat and two popular former members of the Miami Heat, Lamar Odom and Ron Butler, who heard it from the crowd during the pregame introductions. Chris Mihm, the center, Chucky Atkins and Kobe Bryant are in the backcourt. And for the Heat, Udonis Haslem, Eddie Jones, Shaquille O'Neal on the front line. Dwayne Wade coming off that spectacular game-winning shot against the Knicks the other night, and Damon Jones in the backcourt. For the third time this season, Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal will cross paths on the basketball court. And the question is, will there be acknowledgement? Whether sincere or not, following the obvious tense relationship that they had in L.A. And apparently they will not come together. Prior to the Christmas Day game at Staples, there was that brief exchange. At the All-Star game in Denver, they stayed away from each other.
They kind of tried to pump fists together, but very half-heartedly.
Well, as Shaq said the other day, what do you expect, a fist fight on the basketball court? The officials, Blaine Reichelt, Joe Forte, and Ed Malloy, there was a slight nod to each other. There was a degree of acknowledgement.
Well, Marv, Kobe was late getting out, and he walked by, and as Steve said, he tried to reach out, and they tried to acknowledge each other. They missed, but you know what? As time goes on, these guys will grow to respect each other. Maybe never be friends, but they did win 3 championships together and get to 4 NBA Finals. There's a lot of great memories there with championships, Steve.
Yeah, but the problem for Laker fans is, had they just figured that out last year, they might have won 6 or 7 together before it was all said and done.
Miami controlling the opening tip. This is Wade going behind the back to the fadeaway and rebounded by Odom. Lamar Odom looking to break down, and he does. He draws the foul. It counts. Wait a moment. Now it's waved off. Did he grab the rim?
He did grab the rim, so that will not count. Joe Forte walks over, so it'll be 2 free throws. And this is what Lamar Odom is going to have to do tonight. Rebound the basketball, push the ball in the open court, be aggressive. You see Kobe hanging on the cylinder there when the ball is on the rim. But Lamar Odom and Caron Butler tonight must use this crowd and this energy and be ultra aggressive and help Kobe Bryant.
Foul was on Haslem. Last year for Lamar, breakout season with Miami, averaged 17 points. This after 4 years with the Clippers, but you get the idea he's had difficulty fitting in with the Lakers.
Well, his numbers aren't bad. In fact, his shooting percentage and his rebounding totals are up, scoring down about a basket, but he's just never looked comfortable so far. And I think, you know, Doug, you and I talked about him maybe playing that Scottie Pippen role as a distributor, but they have not been able to figure that out to this point.
Oh, Bryant with the strip on Wade. Bryant all the way, and he's fouled from behind by Wade. And you can see Kobe Bryant and Dwayne Wade had some words, and there's Joe Forte stepping between the two.
Well, just what Kobe needs to do. This crowd's on him already, and to get into it with Dwayne Wade, who's the darling here of this crowd. But you know what? Kobe might be one of those nights, Marv, it's a 5th game on a trip where you need that little extra shot. You use it to, I know Michael Jordan used to do this all the time, get a little tired, and he would look for something to get him agitated or fired up, to get him through maybe a longer road trip. And Kobe very aggressive here to start this game.
And it's very rare that you see a superstar talent like Kobe guarding the other player's best player on the perimeter. That shows you the kind of defensive player that he is. Most offensive stars tend to rest a little bit on the other end. That's why Kobe's such a terrific all-around player.
Eddie Jones, former Laker, gets it down low to Shaquille O'Neal. You see they collapse on Shaq. Haslem not able to get to the tip. Odom does. Atkins This is Butler. Odom. Lakers working around him. Force the shot. But it's Bryant right there to give the Lakers a 6-0 lead.
Shot selection is going to be so important for the Lakers tonight. The last two games they've attempted 63s. They cannot do that tonight. They must be patient, make Miami play some defense.
There's O'Neal and a foul. It's on Mim.
Such a huge advantage in the NBA to be able to play inside out, possession after possession. The defense, there's only so many ways you can double team. So if you're the Lakers, you might double from the top, you might come from the ball, from a cutter, but eventually Miami will figure it out, and it just wears on you. That's why Miami shoots 48% on the season.
Nice play by Haslam. He could have taken the jump shot, but trying to get Shaquille O'Neal involved.
Marv, all those power forwards pass the ball very well into the post, and they can all hit the 17 to 18-foot jump shot. That's what really helps their offensive attack.
Lakers with a 6-2 lead. Here's Bryant for three. Kobe Bryant from downtown.
You guys talked about it in the open. I mean, he's got to have one of those magical nights, and you can feel it. There's this excitement in the air tonight. Kobe's one of those bright lights players who loves the glare, loves the spotlight, and it didn't shock me at all to see him put up some big numbers tonight.
From beyond that three-point line, Damon Jones the other night in the win over the Knicks, 6 of 8 for 18 points, all from downtown. He's up near 60% from three-point land the last 15 games. Chucky Atkins tossing up a three, and the ball will go back to Miami.
That's what I'm talking about, Mark. That was not a good shot, and that's the reason why Chucky Atkins has been struggling 5 of 19 over the last couple games. He's got to get open shots. Contested shots for him, he will not shoot a good percentage.
You want to talk about Shaq's influence on the floor. Look at the three-pointer that Eddie Jones had, and then look at the three-pointer at the other end for Atkins.
Lakers 9 and the Heat 5. Nice pass. Mim is blocked from behind by O'Neal. Recovered by Mim. Butler able to keep it alive. And Atkins for three. Snatched by Butler. Good hustle by the Lakers. Bryant to Mim. And last touch by the Lakers.
Well, the energy game right now is with the Lakers. Can they sustain it? You know, Steve, you talked about earlier, the ball is going to go back to the Lakers here. They said the whistle they pointed the wrong way, so we'll go back to the Lakers. But Steve, with Kobe guarding Dwayne Wade and trying to do so much on the other end, will he have the energy to play the 40-plus minutes that he has to play?
And Lamar Odom able to get inside. So the Lakers off to a good start. They're up 11-5.
Well, they're doing the right thing. They're attacking the rim. Chris Mim has got 3 or 4 shots in the lane. They haven't been able to draw any fouls or get many buckets to go, but I like the way they're attacking the rim so far.
Atkins over to help. Shaq off balance, did not have the angle. And it's recovered by Wade. Wade scores over Odom. We saw that last Thursday night on a game that was telecast by TNT against Minnesota. Bryant fires from downtown, rebounded by Wade. Here comes Miami. Bryant is back. Another three-point attempt. And we go the other way as Butler slows it up. Now Butler to the pull-up. Rebounded by Eddie Jones.
The pace of this game favors Miami at home. If the Lakers are going to get into a track meet.
Shaquille O'Neal from Eddie Jones. So the Laker lead is now 2.
I agree. They can't get into a track meet. They've got to pick and choose their spots to run. And you saw Caron Butler not quite comfortable. He had a 4-on-3, but I think that's been a big problem for the Lakers all year. They don't have a point guard who can really run that fast break. As a result, you'd like to see them run more, but I don't know if they have the personnel to do so.
And Bryant got caught in the air. He thought he had a cutter, and there was no one there. So the ball back to Miami. Miami Heat, 10 straight wins, 17 of their last 19. They're on top in the East. Most wins in the NBA, 50 up, 16 down. And in a virtual tie for the #1 record with San Antonio and Phoenix. Wade on a recovery and rebounded by Mim. Butler. Nice move by Butler, but could not convert. Odom is there for the putback.
Great offensive rebound. Lamar Odom is a guy that activity-wise can just get you some easy baskets. That was an extra play there after the miss by Butler. Odom is the 6th leading rebounder in the NBA. This guy has done a nice job on the board.
Shaq off the head fake. That won't count. Foul before the shot attempt. Foul on Bim. That's his second.
Well, once again, Miami going into the low post, as they will all night, as long as Shaq is on the floor. And you see that he just puts so much pressure on the defense. Bim is way too small to handle him down there, as is almost every other center in the NBA. But Miami will just wear you out going down to Shaq and getting open three-pointers as a result.
And the crowd responds to the entrance of Brian Grant. Comes on for Chris Mim. Brian, acquired from Miami in the deal for Shaquille O'Neal. Spent 4 years with the Heat. O'Neal keeping it alive. Shaq tossing to Haslem, but broken up. Here comes Odom with that high dribble. Deflected and handled by Atkins. Here's Odom for 3. Rebounded by O'Neal. Eddie Jones.
Okay, one team's running for layups and the other team's running for jump shots. That's the difference in the game right now.
Eddie Jones, after going through a difficult spell, has played very well as a player.
I think he is really one of the keys to this team in the playoffs, too. You have to have that big third scorer to take the pressure off your main 2 guys. And he's growing more and more comfortable in that role as the season goes on.
Butler. 5.5 remaining in this first quarter. And it's been an electrifying pace. Wade does it off the dribble to draw the foul.
The guy gets to the free throw line almost 10 times a night. You get him on that baseline, you cannot guard him. He will dunk on you, he will get to the line. But Steve, I agree with you. Eddie Jones got up to a slow start. He's incorporated himself into this team. Month by month, he's gotten better. The great finish here, the Lakers by 2.
The NBA on TNT. Brought to you by Heineken. It's all about the beer. Heineken. By Land Rover. Experience the entirely new Land Rover LR3 at LandRoverUSA.com. By Reebok's new S. Carter basketball shoe. The game will never be the same. And by McDonald's.
Back in Miami, tonight's Players Trader is being brought to you by Land Rover.
Well, Mark, one of the things that Shaq does a great job of, he catches the ball in the post, he gets the double team, then he kicks it back out, and then he reposts. And you're going to see him throw that ball back out. Now they recover. Now the double team coming this time can't get there quickly enough. He's coming, and look who's wide open. The wide open 3. So the post, the repost, and then the wide open jump shot for Eddie Jones. Shaq does a magnificent job of doing that. He gets that ball back to his teammates, and when he catches it so deep, there's nothing you can do with him.
It's amazing to watch the quality of shots for each team. Miami's wide open almost every possession. Lakers at the other end having to work and usually have a hand in their face with each jump shot.
Dwayne Wade, who spends much time at the free throw line. Shoot 2. Lakers hit their first 2 of 3. Since then, 2 of 12 from the field. They do have 5 offensive rebounds, and what was a 7-point lead is down to 1.
Well, you look at their shot selection, Mark. The one thing that jumps out, they've already attempted 5 3-point shots. And this is not a team that shoots them like Phoenix at such a high percentage. So you've got to be judicious when you take these threes. Right now, the Lakers' shot selection is not good.
And when Frank Hamlin took over from Rudy Tomjanovich, he said he wanted to pull back, scale back on the three-point shooting. Grant not able to hit. Tip missed. And here comes Miami. Wade guns it ahead. And an offensive foul on Wade. It's a charging foul as Atkins took the hit.
Kobe's going to have to be very careful. If he goes to the offensive boards and doesn't get it, they're going to get fast breaks. Miami, that time they got away with one here with Wade leaving his feet, and Atkins steps in. But Kobe's got to be very careful about when he goes to that board guarding Dwayne Wade.
An open shot for Grant, able to follow it up. Here's Grant with a series of fakes, and then it's rejected by O'Neal. Once again, Wade on the move. Oh, beautifully done! A series of fakes that sent Atkins backpedaling and off balance.
You talked about it, Doug. That's the problem if Kobe's going to cover Dwayne Wade. Wade's going to leak out. Kobe going for the offensive boards. All of a sudden, it's a one-man fast break.
Miami has taken a 15-13 lead, 4.5 remaining in the first. Bryant for three, way off, and rebounded by Wade. Once again, Miami on the run. This is Damon Jones for three. Miami by 5. Getting back to the subject of the Lakers hoisting up three-pointers, they put up 26 in Philadelphia, 34 in Washington, and that's not what Frank Hanlon had in mind. Foul on Miami. 9-0 run here by the Heat. That's the second picked up by Haslem.
A scary moment here a little bit, too, at the end of this play. Shaq, some of the fall he took against Chicago when he hurt his knee, but watch him come over to try to block this shot, and he comes down on his teammate. That's almost the identical way he got hurt in Chicago when he landed on Othella Harrington. And that's how you cannot allow Miami cannot lose Shaquille O'Neal, especially as you start getting close to the playoffs.
You know, if you're going to have a teammate fall on you, you'd rather have it be Damon Jones, wouldn't you?
Yes.
I mean, how about watching as Shaq just falls right on top of you?
8 points for Bryant. Here's Christian Laettner, who's done a nice job coming off the bench for Miami, checking in for the first time, a player that Lou had with the Wizards.
I'll tell you, Christian Laettner is a very good player. He's going to be perfect on this team. He's an excellent passer. He's very smart. And more importantly, he knows it's a great way for him to be able to finish his career on a high note.
And shooting 58%, as we talked about pregame. And you got to give Pat Riley and Randy Fund a lot of credit for constructing this roster, knowing that with Shaq down there, they've got to get some shooters.
Grant on the rebound, and Butler handles. Butler up front with Odom and Grant, Bryant and Atkins at the guard. 3.5 to play in this opening quarter. Marv Albert, Steve Kerr, Doug Collins, Craig Sager from Miami. And a friendly hop for Brian Grant.
Well, if Brian Grant wants to shoot a 15-footer, he can get about 10 or 15 of those already. He's gotten 3 early in the game. He had a little post shot block, but Shaq's not going to come out on it.
Miami lead is now 2. Leaning on O'Neal. Atkins over to help. Sets it up for Damon Jones. Wade is hit from behind by perhaps his best friend as a member of the Miami Heat, Caron Butler. And a timeout called with just under 3 to go in this first quarter.
Well, Dwayne Wade showing his athleticism, his speed, a one-man fast break, the layup over Chucky Atkins.
Welcome back to Miami. The Heat with a 2-point lead. What a contrast in the feelings for the players involved in that historic trade last summer. I asked Shaq for his comments. He goes, listen, LA has been deleted from my system and flushed down the toilet. Meanwhile, the 3 former Heat players, very fond memories of Miami. They all got good responses here tonight. Lamar Odom said, Pat Riley believed in me. The bond we have will never be broken. Brian Grant's wife, Gina, their 4 kids still call Miami their home. He spent 4 years here. And Caron Butler spent the day visiting his favorite Boys and Girls Club here in Miami. And he said, this will always be my home. We'll all root for the Miami Heat if and when the Lakers get eliminated.
All right, thanks, Craig. Caron Butler missed the earlier meeting in L.A. on Christmas Day, serving a 1-game suspension for throwing a punch. And very happy to be back in action here tonight. As Craig mentioned, all 3 receiving rousing ovations when their names were introduced.
Well, it's important to remember that all 3 of them really helped resurrect the Heat a year ago. Remember, 2 years ago, this team, I think, won about 25, 26 games. So last year was huge for this franchise, and they enabled the team to get Shaq in the trade. So a lot of strong feelings for those 3 from these fans.
Dwayne Jones has checked in for the first time for the Lakers. So Jones, Odom, and Grant now up front. Foul on Damon Jones. Making contact with Chucky Atkins.
I felt coming into this game today, Caron Butler was sort of the most emotional of the trade. And I thought tonight coming in, it's the first time he's played against the Lakers. You talked about the suspension, Marv, but I thought he needed to hit a shot early to get himself going. He's missed his first 3 shots, and he's sort of a sensitive player. He needs to have some success so he feels good about himself.
Here's Odom putting the move on Leighton. Keon Dooling came over, tried to cut him off, and a foul is called. Talking about Miami last season, they went 42-40, winning 17 of their final 21 regular season games to finish as the 4th seed, which was a remarkable accomplishment by Stan Van Gundy and the Miami Heat.
Well, they were a team that was very, very good at home and struggled on the road. Last year, they did not win a playoff game. This year, you can see the difference with Shaq. They're very much a strong playoff team because of their ability to win on the road, Marv. And what they did, I think winning that first round last year gave them a real taste of what the playoffs were all about.
The Hornets in 7 and lost to the Pacers in 6 in the Eastern Conference semifinals. You mentioned Pat Riley, the team president. He said at the start of the year, after the trade was made for Shaquille O'Neal, there's no romance or honeymoon period now for this team, and that Shaq is 32. He's been hit by injuries in recent years. The feeling being they have to do it right away. And they seem to be right on course. 50 wins, 10 straight overall, 13 straight at home.
Well, Shaq is making his post-All-Star game kick. That last leg of the regular season, he's always done that with the Lakers. The record after the All-Star break was always much better than it was early, Steve. He sees the finish line, and I think he really is enjoying playing with the group of players that he's playing with.
I think most players see the finish line at this point in the season. I know I always did. The difference is Shaq's strides are a lot longer, you know, and when he starts running and he starts asserting himself, it's scary the effect he has on the game.
Now up by 3. Lakers have dropped their last 2. This is game 5 of a 6-game road trip. They split the first 4. They won in Dallas, they won in Charlotte, and lost in Washington and Philly in poor performances. It's rejected by O'Neal. Shot clock to 4. Atkins passed on a 3. And here comes Wade, who has been all over the floor in this first quarter. Wade tried to slither his way through and lost it. Nice play by Grant. And it's a jump ball. Grant was trying to call for time.
Now, Marv, I did the games over in Athens for the Olympics this summer. There's no way I would have ever envisioned watching Dwayne Wade play on that Olympic team that he would have thrown up the kind of numbers that he's throwing up this year. And I know it was a team that, you know, looked to, you know, use the offensive, the clock a lot, and didn't look to shoot the ball that much from the perimeter, but he was an excellent defender. But I did not see him being this kind of offensive force in his second year in the league, Steve. His numbers over 7 points a game more than last year. His assists are up, his rebounding is up. He's just skyrocketing.
I think it shows also the difference between the international game and the NBA game. It's you know, maybe not an excuse that we're using for the American team, but it really is a totally different style of play over there.
And Kobe Bryant now has 10 points, 20-19, Miami. As we approach a minute remaining in this first quarter, Keon Dooling now working the point. Dooling and Wade at the guards, and as O'Neal sets up away from the ball, Wade is sent flying. And a foul is called on Cook, who checked in a moment ago.
Well, 3 years ago, you could have done this. You could chuck the cutter. Not anymore. See Brian Cook just step out. He's going to put Dwayne Wade on the line. And again, Dwayne Wade already getting to that free throw line tonight. Shoots over about 10 a game, and he just continually puts pressure on your defense.
It's not just his athleticism, it's his wisdom. For a young player, he has such a great court awareness. He knows that they're in the penalty, and he knows that if he takes a little chuck, maybe acts a little bit, he's getting 2 free throws automatically. Very smart player.
Wade now 5 of 5 at the line. That's Slava Medvedenko coming on for Brian Grant. Both teams over the foul limit. Miami up 22-19. Bryant and Atkins in the backcourt. Slava Medvedenko, Jermaine Jones. Up front. Right, nowhere to go. Crowd wanted to travel. Here is Medvedenko. Rebounded by Wade. That's his 4th board.
See if Miami goes for a 2-for-1 here. They've got the clock on their side if they want to.
Dooling for 3.
Doug, that's one where you just got in the game. Step in and take the 18-footer. So many guys just stand behind that line. Take the easy one. Get yourself into rhythm.
Especially when you're not a three-point shooter.
And a foul is called on Leitner. Miami over the limit. Leitner upset. Felt it was just a touch on his part.
You know, Steve, just to follow up, I mean, Keon Dooling is 12 for 50 on the season behind the line. That's 24%. He's a slasher and a cutter. Get yourself involved. Drive in there, get to the free throw line. See that ball go in the basket, get you a layup.
And with the spacing that Shaq provides with his presence down on the post, you can take that same shot from 18 feet, and you're still going to be wide open.
Ryan Cook, 78% free throw shooter. First round draft pick last year out of Illinois.
Sure, he's got his eyes on the NCAA tournament this year with his buddies from Illinois being the top seed.
Well, as we all do, Doug.
That's right.
Keep my eye on the Arizona score tonight. I know you'll be watching Duke tomorrow.
That's true.
Final seconds of the first quarter. And Dooling shoots and scores from downtown with 1/10 of a second left of the quarter.
Like I said, it's a great three-point shooter.
So much for percentages.
Keon Dooling, who has picked up his game in recent weeks, particularly from long range, able to knock it down to extend to a 5-point Miami lead. So after one here in Miami, it's the Heat 25, the Lakers 20.
I'm Larry Smith with this Heineken Sports Update. Retired slugger Mark McGwire was among 7 current and former Major League players called before the House Government Reform Committee, which is looking into steroid use in baseball. McGwire did not say if he ever used steroids and said he would not participate in naming names. In their opening statements, active players Rafael Palmeiro and Sammy Sosa both said they had never used steroids.
On a rainy St. Patrick's night in South Florida, we welcome you back to American Airlines Arena. Better than 20,000 on hand for the Heat and the Lakers. Miami head coach Stan Van Gundy and his team clinching a playoff berth the other night with a win over the Knicks, the earliest in its 17-season history.
This is a guy who was 0-7 in his start, taking over Pat Riley. You can see when they get off to a good start at home, 19 of 20 after winning the first quarter. They're off to a good start and now able to go to their bench and give Shaq a little bit of a rest.
Brandon Anderson and Michael Goliak have come on for Miami. Bryant fires up that fadeaway, and the officials checking with each other. They say last touch by the Lakers. It'll be Miami ball.
You know, it's interesting to watch the Lakers. They're trying to run a little triangle offense, and that was a triangle possession there, but you can see everything's just a little bit off. The timing's off, the passes are a little bit off, and it's such a rhythm offense. Of course, Doug, as you know, they tried to put this offense in about 2 months into the season. It doesn't work that way. You need an entire training camp, maybe more than that, to really get comfortable with that offense.
Nice exchange between Leitner and Dooling to set up the jumper.
Well, if Dooling can give them good minutes off the bench, he's got great quickness and speed. He had a lot of injuries out with the Clippers. He looks like he's healthy, starting to get his confidence back. He was a terrific young player at Missouri.
Miami has its biggest lead. They're up by 7. Medvedenko had the baseline closed off, nowhere to go. And they'll jump it up. Nice play by Miami on the tie-up. Miami at 50-16 coming into tonight's play, on top in the Eastern Conference, followed by the Pistons. 8.5 back. 10 straight wins for the Heat, the team record 14 in a row. That was said earlier in the season, although that goes back to the previous year. Here's Odom breaking it home.
Tough matchup for Christian Laettner. He does not have the quickness to play against Lamar Odom. That's why Odom should take that ball and penetrate, and then when somebody helps, he can find open shooters.
Yeah, especially now with Shaquille O'Neal on the bench. The basket's going to be a little less guarded, and Odom should be able to have his way right now.
Wade spinning. Wade with the scoop. And it's deflected out. Last touch by the Lakers.
He's just got that charisma. You know, you just see him when he makes a move, that the explosion, that this crowd that just reacts to everything this young guy does.
He's one of those guys who does 2 or 3 things every night that you probably didn't see the previous night. Just a special, special player.
Laettner around Odom. And a foul.
That hurt just watching. You know, I felt that way late in my career. You know, you just can't move quite as well. And you look at Christian, he's hobbling around out there.
I used to always kid Christian. I said, Christian, nobody bites on your pump fake anymore. Just shoots the ball. He used to always convince me that he was going to get in the lane and finish. But he was a great pickup for this team. Once he was let go, he was involved obviously in a trade to Dallas, then to Golden State, and then they let him go and picked up here in Miami.
Kobe committed a foul. He'll sit down. Heard the boos from the crowd. Luke Walton comes on for Kobe Bryant. Really not able to hit the three. Nice play by Goliak to keep it alive. Dooling and Wade in the backcourt. Goliak with Anderson and Laettner up front. Here is Goliak. Yes, Michael Goliak, who did another excellent pickup by Pat Riley.
I think I saw the other day Shaquille O'Neal said he's the best backup that's ever played with in his career.
Miami now leads by 7. Offensive foul, a charge called on Jermaine Jones.
I think Frank Hamblin is trying to buy a few minutes here with Kobe on the bench, with Shaq on the bench as well. But he's going to have to get some offense from somebody. Jermaine Jones that time trying to make a move. Nice, maybe a little flop from Dwayne Wade, but he had good position. So we'll see if the Lakers can hang in there and buy Kobe a couple minutes rest.
How about this matchup now? Luke Walton has to guard Wade because Pierre Brown is guarding Dooling. This is called a mismatch.
And a foul is called as Wade tried to hit the runner. And took a pop from Walton. So Wade back to the line. Wade 6 of 6 at the free throw line. National coverage of the NBA continuing this week. Tomorrow on ESPN2. It's the Lakers and the Pacers starting at 7:30 p.m. as the Lakers conclude the 6-game road trip. Saturday on NBA TV, the Knicks and the Heat starting at 7:30 Eastern Time. And then Sunday on ABC regional action at 3:30. The Spurs and the Pistons, or the Suns and the Grizzlies. Saw will have a new time.
Well, he's done a great job in Memphis, especially now with all the injuries.
And here's Walton for 3. At the line by Jones, but his pass intercepted. Wade with the crossover, setting it up for Dooling.
Yes. Too much speed in the backcourt now for Miami. The Lakers just cannot match that.
And what a luxury for Stan Van Gundy. You put Shaq on the bench. Now all of a sudden you just turn the team over to Dwayne Wade. He gets to the foul line. He creates shots for other people. They don't skip a beat when Shaq goes out of the game.
And Keon Dooling has come off the bench to hit 3 of 5 for 7 points. Once again, you see yet another dimension in the game of Dwayne Wade assisting with Keon Dooling.
This weekend, all the drama, all weekend.
3 minutes gone by in the second quarter. Miami has opened up a 33-22 lead. Marv Albert, Steve Kerr, Doug Collins, Craig Sager, P. Diddy is on hand, as is The Rock. Former Miami Heat player Ronnie Cycli, and Randy Moss, who we saw here last week for the Miami-Minnesota game, the newest Oakland Raider. I think Randy was actually ahead of himself wearing green last week.
He's very quick, but that was a little too quick, I think.
Right. Oh! Kobe Bryant, who just checked back in, now has 12 points. And the crowd did not like the stare, that little pause.
I looked over at Frank Hamlin, and he just sort of smiled and pulled his tie down. What do you think of that play?
So Miami now leads 33-24. Ruling comes up short. Ron Butler is back. Bryant, yes.
Where you go to your bench and you bring Kobe Bryant back into the game after you struggle. Now you're right back in this game after getting down by 11.
7-point Miami lead. Ruling putting moves on Atkins. And it's a backcourt violation. So the Lakers will get it back.
Well, let's take a look at the out-of-bounds play that Frank Hamlin drew up, beautifully executed. And now watch Kobe. He'll stare towards the crowd. They didn't like that one bit. I always love to watch what teams come out of with timeouts. They frequently, coaches will run some little kickball there, run something to get an easy bucket. And now what a lot of teams are doing defensively is they're playing zone right out of timeouts to try to thwart whatever has been drawn up in the timeout.
Lakers with Atkins and Bryant in the backcourt. Odom is up front with Jones and Butler. A long rest for Shaquille O'Neal. Wade. And handled by Butler. Shaq is sitting out first 4.5 minutes of this second quarter. Here's Bryant off balance. Now Shaq over at the scorer's table, and he will check in.
You know, Shandon Anderson has sort of found his little niche here, too, after leaving New York. The other day actually set a record. Here's Eddie Jones on the drive that he misses. But there's Shandon Anderson right on the spot. But he had 8 defensive rebounds in the second quarter against Milwaukee the night, which tied the franchise record for defensive rebounds in the quarter. The last guy to do it was Caron Butler. So sort of finding his niche here with this team.
I think he's added another dimension. They have so many shooters as now he comes up with the steal and the finish from Dwayne Wade.
Mark, that's called a segue. Yeah. That's the Shandon Anderson segue.
I think you guys are right. Miami 37 and Los Angeles 26.
Got to get Caron Butler involved in this game. They need him desperately.
And a blocking foul is called on Anderson. Now O'Neal and Haslam will check back in.
Well, Anderson, as you talked about, Doug, this guy is quick. He can rebound. He can force turnovers. And here, beautiful feed on the 3-on-2 fast break to Wade. And you know, offensively, this team has surrounded Shaq with three-point shooters. Anderson gives them that different look, the slasher. So that's occasionally when Shaq will post up, he'll find Anderson slashing to the rim for easy buckets. Changes the look a little bit for Miami.
Eddie Jones defending on Kobe Bryant. Bad pass forced.
So tough these days to run isolation plays, as you talked about, Doug, because of the zone defense. And Miami just loading up the last 3 possessions on Kobe, and the Lakers just standing around.
Now single coverage on O'Neal. Back comes Butler. Push off by Butler and a foul. Joe Forte at center court saw it, and the foul on Caron Butler.
Well, he's really struggling. He had an emotional start here, missed some easy shots, has not been able to find his game, and they need him if they're going to be able to make the playoffs.
Legend tells of a lost cargo that could have changed the course of history. No one believed it would ever be found, but one man knows that nothing is impossible.
I finally have the proof.
On April 8th, the adventure is heating up. Sahara.
I don't think we can fix this thing.
Rated PG-13. The Quest begins April 8th, only in theaters.
A quick download on the all-new Hyundai Tucson. Loaded with features inside and out, like standard side impact and side curtain airbags, standard electronic stability control with traction control, and a unique cargo space where every passenger seat folds flat. With award-winning quality backed by America's best warranty. 10 years, 100,000 miles. The perfect for whatever, whenever Hyundai Tucson. Nicely equipped at just $17,499. Only at Hyundai. Unlike RAV4 and CR-V, the Tucson offers 6 airbags and electronic stability control for under $17,500.
Hey, if you like grilling, but you'd rather be chilling, then you should try Round Table's tasty new Smokehouse Combo. Give them the 411, Matt.
Okie doke. This puppy's loaded with savory smokehouse meats and topped with fresh, tantalizing veggies.
Matt, you on fire.
I am good.
No, you on fire.
What?
The new Smokehouse Combo is here, but only for a limited time and only at Round Table.
Drop a roll, Matt, drop a roll.
Run for your lives. Wait, Ford Ranger's here. We're saved. Let's get him.
Ford Ranger saves the day again, and just in time for Truck Month at your Northwest Ford store. Get the 2005 Ranger XLT Super Cab 4x4 with 16-inch aluminum wheels, 4-liter V6, and more, all with $3,500 in total savings. Ford trucks built for the Northwest, built Ford tough.
The NBA on TNT.
Grab him 3 times. All right, I'll take a look at it. They called Christian for that hand check on the closeout. It's got to be the same one. No, we got it on the drive. I know, we just got it here.
Coach is always so helpful to the officiating crew.
If we only had a whistle.
Just under 6 minutes remaining. In this first half, Miami 37 and Los Angeles 26. O'Neal looking for position. He's fouled by Odom.
It looked like the Lakers were a little bit of a zone there, and the ball went to the wing, and Nim went all the way out to cover, and he left Lamar Odom in the post trying to guard Shaq. I mean, he's going to have to be aware of he can't run out there and leave Shaq underneath the basket.
Shaq to the line for the first time the other night, just 3 of 14. Whoa! Missed his first 7. Against the Knicks at Madison Square Garden. He's actually 0 for 9 because of 2 late violations. He missed both do-overs.
And you know when Alonzo Mourning has a disgusted look on his face after a free throw, you know it's bad.
And Shaq's one of those guys go, uh-oh, a lane violation. I got to shoot another one here kind of thing. But he's now 9 of his last 29 free throws over the last 3 games.
I remember last week when we were here, he hit the vast majority of them during the game. And Minnesota went to the hack-a-shack in the last couple of minutes. He knocked down, I think, 4 out of 5, 5 out of 6. So he'll have his moments, but he struggles throughout the season, about 45, 46%.
He was 13 of 18. Last Thursday against the T-Wolves, and that's on a tear for Shaquille at the line. Oh, nice move by Kobe, who has 16 points.
Well, Kobe's 6 of 10. Lamar Odom is 3 of 4. The rest of the Laker team is 1 for 18.
It's unbelievable. And that's why Frank Hamlin wants to run the triangle to try to get other people involved. But you can see they're just totally out of rhythm when they try the triangle sets.
Oh, beautiful pass. Shandon Anderson able to convert.
There's that slash and cut. You've got the three-point shooters, the different look.
You get so used to having to close out on shooters, and now all of a sudden you get the slasher in there. Totally changes everything defensively.
Shot clock down to 6. Down to 3. Atkins on a catch and shoot from downtown. That bailed out the Laker possession. They now move with an 8.
That's why Lamar Odom is so talented. He's 6'11". He can see over the defense. He's a ball handler, a passer. And I think eventually he's got to find his way with this Laker team as the years go on. And he's too good of a player not to be more of a factor.
Got to nowhere to go. Anderson. Oh, he got it back. The shot. Miami now leads by 10. 6 points for O'Neal against his former team. Just under 4 minutes to play in the first half. Bryant, he's rejected after the foul. Well, that's a terrific activity there by Shaquille O'Neal.
Well, Kobe said, you know, before when Shaq said he was the Corvette running into the wall, he said, I agree with that only except I'm a Lamborghini. Kobe went for the higher price car, but there is nowhere to go for him, and Kobe gets the brunt of that. It looks like he got hit maybe right below the knee.
Lamborghini's got to go in for a little body work tonight.
Shaq picked up his first right here. Let's see what's coming to TNT.
Before this war's over, I'm going to kill you. My way.
Academy Award winners Mel Gibson and Chris Cooper, The Patriot. Saturday at 8 on TNT.
And back to the live action. Bryant now with 18 points. 8-point deep lead. Haslem with room. One-handed by Bryant. Bryant putting moves on Anderson. Here's Odom. Atkins. Atkins with the step. Nice move by Chucky Atkins.
Much better patience the last couple minutes by the Lakers. They're taking their time. They're getting into the lane, getting much more high percentage shots than what they started the game with.
Miami lead has been trimmed to 6. See the double on O'Neal. Opens it up for David Jones. In, able to rebound. Here's Bryant kicking it out. Odom for 3. And it hits the shot clock, so the ball back to the Heat.
Well, Dwayne Wade's been on the bench here for about 3 or 4 minutes. It'll be interesting to see if Stan Van Gundy tries to put him back in here. Just 3 minutes to go in the half. A chance to maybe get another little push before the halftime.
Yeah, normally coaches like to really close out quarters well.
Once again, Haslem with the room. Not hitting his shot. Atkins pushing it. That's by Dooling. And once again, a jump ball is called.
Well, you can see what the Lakers are doing now. They're trying to do in transition. They're trying to have Shaq's guy come over and screen on the ball to get some early offense, and Atkins has gotten in the lane the last couple times with that.
Welcome back to Miami. Miami with a 41-35 lead. 10 years ago, Pat Riley brought Eric Spoelstra to the Heat in charge of video and information coordinating. Since that time, throughout the decade, Eric Spoelstra has gradually taken on a more important role. He is now in charge of the team's shooting. And after Dwayne Wade hit the buzzer beater the other night to win the game at the final seconds, he gave much credit to Eric Spoelstra. He said before he came to Miami, he had never really worked on shooting, but he spent thousands of shots with Eric Spoelstra trying to get his balance, his follow-through, and it has paid off. He works with a lot of people. Spoelstra says, I am not a shooting guru, but I learned my trade from Chip England, who Riley brought to a summer camp several years ago, and I show my team breaks down of plays. One of his favorite players to use is our own Steve Kerr. Mark?
Well, Chip was my shooting coach when I played in Chicago for 5 years. He's now on the Denver Nuggets staff, but I think it's something. Wow! Oh, never mind. They rudely interrupted my story, Doug. What a play.
Well, it's sort of tit for tat. That's what the Lakers did with Kobe out of a timeout. So Stan Van Gundy says, I'll do the same thing for Dwayne Wade.
But I'd prefer to hear about you and Chip.
Yeah. Well, now, I would look good as a shooting coach with Steve.
It is something I think is more prevalent these days in the NBA. Individual shooting coaches, kind of like a golf coach, as Shaq gets fouled. And I remember when I first came into the NBA, there weren't even strength coaches. I mean, you know that, Doug. I mean, 15, 18 years ago, strength coaches didn't exist. Now there are elaborate training facilities, strength and conditioning programs, and I think now, as you see with Eric Spoelstra, you see more and more specialized shooting coaches as well, and I think it can be a huge help for young players.
Well, you're seeing so many younger players come in the league, too, and so Dallas has about a coach for every young player that they bring in because they know how much it's important for those guys to work when they're not playing.
Meanwhile, Shaq continues to have his problems at the line. He's officially 0 for 3.
Interesting you see in the playoffs how many teams go to that fouling off the ball before the last 2 minutes.
Yeah, Minnesota tried it last week and it backfired. I'm sure Eric Spoelstra is not taking credit for Shaquille O'Neal's free throw shooting.
Ball is deflected out of bounds by Miami. It'll be Lakers maintaining possession. 1:42 to go in this first half. The Heat up by 8. Ryan has had the hot hand. Atkins for 3. Yes. Chucky Atkins from downtown. He has 8 points. And it's a 5-point Heat lead.
When you look at the stats, you would think Miami was up about 15 points in this game. Somehow the Lakers have hung around.
They've done a nice job on the boards rebounding. We got 8 offensive rebounds, so they're hanging in through hustle, I think.
Nice move off the fake by Damon Jones. That's a rare 2-pointer for Jones. And a foul as Atkins took it to the bucket. Damon Jones did not like the call, and he's teed up. Technical foul called on Damon Jones.
Well, he's the jokester of this team. He keeps everybody loose, but that time he got a little bit upset at Blaine Reichelt. It's an opportunity here now for the Lakers to pick up the technical free throw, maybe a couple free throws by Chucky Atkins. You saw the bump. Here, Kobe Bryant will shoot the free throw. He makes this, and Atkins can make his too. It could be a 3-point play to cut this down to 4 points.
Now, did he give Atkins a continuation or not?
Oh, I guess not. It looks like it's going to be sideline out of bounds. You're right.
4th team foul on the Heat. Here's the lob for Bryant. Wow. Atkins to Bryant, and Kobe with 21 points to bring the Lakers within 4.
Now, that's not Eddie Jones' fault. He's forcing him to go baseline so he can't come off the screen. That big man has got to protect him on that play and protect the basket.
Yeah, a little miscommunication there defensively for Miami.
Wade popping it cross court. Eddie Jones. Jones to O'Neal. Miami with a 47-41 lead, but Butler got down court in a hurry, and Miami did not react.
Cannot celebrate in this game. Both teams looking to run back after scores.
Half-minute left in the first half. Here's Eddie Jones for 3. 2-second differential between the game clock and the shot clock. Atkins to Odom.
Again, it's that screen, Omar, we talked about. Shaq's man is stepping up on the move before they get into their half-court offense. And when Chucky Atkins gets into the lane, other guy has to help. And that's freeing up some easy baskets.
That's the blueprint for how to attack the Heat. You've got to make Shaq come out on that screen and roll.
Final seconds of the half. Wade has to pop it for 3. And that's the end of the first half. Miami led by as many as 11, a 14-6 run by the Lakers over the last 4 minutes. And the Miami lead is down to 2. Kobe Bryant leading the way for LA with 21. Remember, he had 42 in that Christmas Day ball game against Miami. Lakers losing that in overtime to the Heat. Let's go to Craig and Dwayne Wade.
Well, Dwayne Wade with 16 points, Kobe Bryant with 21. Quite an individual battle going against you two. He's guarding you. What's the night out there for you?
It's very competitive. Right now, at the end of the half, we had a lapse, but we played pretty good. I mean, Kobe's a good player, but we got to have better team defense on him.
It's like talking to officials after the end of the first half. What were you telling them?
Tell him to call something on Kobe. I mean, he's not invincible, man. He out there doing everything like everybody else. I just told him to call something on him.
All right, thanks a lot. Right now, he has 16 points, and Kobe has 21. Miami's lead, 1-11, down to just 2. And when we come back, Ernie Johnson will be here at American Airlines Arena with a halftime report.
Lob out of a timeout that Frank Hamlin set up. This is the steal. This is a play with a little extracurricular activity talking between Wade and Kobe. He missed a shot, but did get to the free throw line to shoot 2. So Kobe and Lamar Odom, 32 of the 45 points for the Lakers.
And a look at tonight's price per game summary. Lakers 39% from the field. The Heat at 43. Lakers second in rebounding. one of the areas where they do excel in the out-rebound of the Heat, 27-17. It is on to the third quarter. Laker ball as we pick it up. And here is Butler. So Caron Butler with only a second field goal. He has 4 points. Let's go over to Craig Sager. Craig?
Well, Frank Hamlin told his team he was very impressed with their energy in that first half, especially on the boards where they out-rebounded Miami 27-17. He said they had no turnovers after the first couple minutes of the second quarter. He said Kobe will not get a rest because when he comes out of the game offensively, they're out of sync, and they need Kobe to guard Dwayne Wade. So it looks like the Lakers are going to pull this out. They're going to be riding Kobe at both ends of the court.
All right, Craig, and the crowd reacts as Dwayne Wade emphatically rejected Kobe Bryant, who landed on his back. The game is tied at 47. The pass picked off by Wade, puts the speed on, racing with Odom, and draws the foul.
You see how fast he was getting down the floor?
And strong. I mean, he had Lamar Odom running right next to him, but talk about the turnovers, Marv. That's what got the Lakers in trouble in the first, 16 minutes of the game. They had 8 turnovers, got down by 11, and in the last 8 minutes, they had no turnovers when they got themselves back into the flow offensively. So they've got to stay away from the turnovers that leads to these runouts.
Wade is 8 for 8 at the line.
Well, a moment ago, we saw the block. Take a look, as you said, Marv, emphatically knocked away by Wade, and Kobe sort of laughs getting up. I think he was a little embarrassed by that play there. He's not used to having his shot blocked, and to Wade's credit, one of the things I love about him as a young player, he just kind of handles his business. He doesn't need to get in his face and talk trash. He knows he's good, and he just lets his play speak for itself.
There was a brief, light, testy moment between the two early on. A light testy moment. And Butler hits again, so the Lakers have taken a 1-point lead.
Well, I like what they're doing. They're getting Butler involved. He's too good to play 18 minutes and only have 2 points. So they've come out here early, run a couple plays. He's got 2 field goals.
Jones rejected by Bryant. Atkins. Oh, the ball fake. Beautifully done by Chucky. Atkins apparently was deflected, according to the official Ed Malloy. Otherwise, it would have been a traveling violation. Lakers have their first lead since back in the first quarter when they were up 13-11. They now lead by 3. Foul is called on Atkins, making contact with Damon Jones.
So defense creates offense. And Steve, we've talked about it with the Lakers. They do not use their defense enough to get them involved in some offense, some easy baskets, the little ball fake and the fumble. But the Lakers 30th in steals, 30th in forced turnovers, 30th in fast break points. They get nothing easy off their defense.
Shot clock to 5. Eddie Jones. Whoa. Beautiful hesitation move by Jones. And he finished with the reverse. Butler not able to hit Damon Jones on the rebound. Miami in possession, down by 1. Miami with the best record in the East. They're 50-16. Here's Shaquille O'Neal. And Miami now leads by 1. The Heat going for 11 straight wins. They've taken 17 of the last 19. They've won 13 straight here at home, where they're 28-5. That's the second best home record in the NBA, right behind San Antonio at 29-3. Bryant. Haslem. Haslem with Eddie Jones on the front line, along with Donis having a recapture on the save. Wade rejected. O'Neal on the follow. Miami 54 and Los Angeles 51. Butler, Mims, and Odom up front. Bryant and Atkins in the backcourt. Butler in trouble with Wade. And that pass picked off. Here comes Damon Jones. Eddie Jones with the shot. Yes.
Doug, somewhere in America, Tex Winter just had a heart attack. I mean, the Lakers are trying to run his offense, that triangle, and it ends up in a standstill isolation with 2 or 3 terrible passes. They just don't have that rhythm that is required to run that offense, and this is what it leads to, the turnover. Jones to the other Jones, knocks down the 18-footer.
Well, that triangle's been flattened out to a rectangle right now. Everybody's standing around watching, and that's when the Lakers get themselves in trouble. No rhythm in their offense. And Steve, you played in that offense before. You know how long it takes to get the cuts, the timing, where you have to catch the ball, how hard you have to cut. There's so many things that go into it. I think people fall in love with other people's offenses sometimes because they look good with other teams, but not many people can teach it like Tex Winter.
No, and I asked Phil Jackson when he took over the Lakers, I said, are you going to run that offense? He said, absolutely. I said, how long do you think it'll take your team to feel comfortable with it? He said 2 years. And most coaches don't have 2 years of security to be able to install an offense like that. So it takes a lot of patience and a lot of talent to be able to run it.
8-0 run for Miami. They're up by 5. Bryant being played by Eddie Jones as he posts up. Last touch by the Lakers.
When we talked to Stan Van Gundy, we said, what are you going to do today with Kobe? And he said, in the post, we're going to try to play him straight up as much as we can. We don't want to double team him. That time, Eddie Jones did a nice job. Shaq came over and challenged the shot, made it difficult one.
4 minutes gone by in the third. O'Neal gives it up. Eddie Jones for 3. Nice box out by Odom. Atkins. Yes.
There's that little drag break again. That time, Chucky Atkins, we saw it at the end of the half where he comes down, Shaq's man steps out Nim, and Shaq is back in the paint. That shot is there for him.
Chucky 5 of 10. He has 12 points. Good hands. Butler able to break it up.
Frank Hamlin's furious. He watched Dwayne Wade take about 4 steps there into the lane, but no call by the officials.
There's Frank, who took over from Rudy Tomjanovich back on the 2nd of February. Frank, longtime assistant on Phil Jackson's staff. Spent time with Phil as an assistant in Chicago and in Los Angeles. Shot clock to 4. Eddie Jones blocked by Lamar Odom. Here comes Atkins. A lot of dribbling by Chucky Atkins. Butler to Mim. Mim trying to stuff, and he's fouled.
The presence of Shaq, though, inside. Butler had that. Looked like he wanted to lay it up, and he looked and he saw Shaq coming at him, and then he tried to drop it off to Mim. And Mim goes up strong here and gets the foul. Very close to pushing off with that off arm. I think Udonis Haslem felt like that he was defended that pretty well.
Third on a Haslem. Mim only a 68% free throw shooter, looking for his first points of the night. Mim comes in averaging 10 points. Done a good job off the boards. Well, Tim Duncan of the Spurs will travel to Detroit, taking on Ben Wallace and the defending champion Detroit Pistons. Tune in on Sunday, March 20th. That's the preview of possible finals matchup, although people here in Miami disagree with that. Coverage starts 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time on ABC.
Well, Miami earlier in the year, Steve and I were talking about this at halftime. I wasn't sold on them being able to beat maybe Detroit or San Antonio. As I've watched them now develop through the year, they are a strong challenger to win that NBA championship this year, Mark.
And Miami started out record of 11-7. Here's Odom off the steal. Brown wanted to travel on Odom. Atkins again from downtown. Chucky Atkins, who was acquired from the Boston Celtics with Chris Smith and Jermaine Jones, a deal for Gary Payton and Rick Fox, who retired. He's also played for Detroit and Atlanta. Spent time in the CBA and has provided a huge lift here for the Lakers. Shaq is fouled. He'll head back to the line. The Lakers have recapped to the lead. They're up by 1.
You got to appreciate their effort tonight. They have A lot of energy, active on the boards. They're starting to have a little more purpose offensively, and you see Chucky Atkins picking it up. That has to help. Remember, early in the game, it was all Kobe and Lamar Odom. Now, all of a sudden, you see Butler getting going a little bit, Atkins as well.
You know, the frustrating part about that, Steve, is if you're Frank Hamill and you say, why don't we bring that against Washington and Philly, two games that probably on paper are more winnable than this game. You lose those two and you come in and give a great effort and you lose. Those are the frustrating things that face coaches. You say, let's gear up for those teams that we got a great chance to win against.
And Shaq gets both free throws after missing his first four. Miami up by one. Chris Smith replaced by Brian Grant. That's Grant up high. Jones all over Kobe Bryant. Here is Odom for three. The tip, it's handled by Eddie Jones. Haslam open. Kept alive by Wade. Wade able to extend to get through that loose ball, and he's given Miami a three-point advantage. Bryant met by Shaq. Here's Grant. Grant able to knock it down to bring the Lakers within one.
Well, if he and Mim want to make that little 15-footer, we talked about it at the first half, that will be there.
Miami 60, Los Angeles 59. 5.5 left in the third. Shaq with a beautiful spin. 16 points for Shaquille O'Neal. Dwayne Wade, high man for Miami with 19. Kobe Bryant with 21 has not scored here in this third quarter. Atkins on fire. Rebounded by O'Neal. Here's the outlet. Damon Jones through the layup. Back comes Atkins. For Bryant with room for three, way off. And here's it from the crowd. So Kobe Bryant fires a three, an air ball. And as he heads back to the bench, the crowd is all over him. Timeout taken. Just under 5 left in the third. Miami. A three-point lead over the Lakers. Over the last 36 years, Lakers have had an impressive succession of centers, sort of the man replacing the man from 69 through 73. It was Hall of Famer Wilt Chamberlain, man in the middle in L.A., followed by Elmore Smith. And then Kareem Abdul-Jabbar led the Lakers to 5 titles. From 89 through 96, it was Vlade Divac teaming up with Magic Johnson, and then from 96 through 2004, Shaquille O'Neal, followed by Chris Smith, who is actually subbing for Vlade Divac, who was projected as the starter going into this year, but Vlade played in only 8 games and recovering from back surgery.
That was a huge loss for Los Angeles because this is really a team without a point guard, and they were planning to run their offense through Vlade a little bit like Sacramento has done for years at the top of the key, but he hasn't been there for the Lakers this year.
Damon Jones stepping back for a three, and it went over the top of the backboard out of bounds. Let's go to Craig Sager. Craig?
Well, this is Vlade's 15th and possibly final year. He had a surgery to repair the herniated disc in his lower back in January. I talked to him today. He said he signed a 2-year contract this past summer, but the Lakers hold the option for next year at $5 million. If they don't pick that up, he said the only team be interested in going back to is Sacramento. With all the changes they're making, he doesn't know if they would want him back. So possibly we have seen the last of Vlade Divac, and we'll never see him in a uniform again.
All right, thanks, Craig. 3-point Miami lead. We're just under 4 minutes left in the third quarter. Marv Albert, Doug Collins, Steve Kerr, Craig Sager. We're in South Florida on a rainy night. And a foul is called on Bryant. That's his second.
See, Miami now really trying to go through Shaq. He had 8 at halftime, sort of quiet. He already has 8 in this quarter. So Dwayne Wade getting a little bit of a brief respite offensively, doing a good job defensively on Butler now, but now going to Shaq. So you can see how they mixing up their offense and let one guy rest a little bit and go through the other guy. Here's the shot that Laettner loves on that baseline.
Christian Laettner checking in just a moment ago. And Miami now leads 64-59. Keon Cooling has come on for Heat. He's defending on Chucky Atkins. Odom forced it. Bryant with the save by Wade. Bryant with a fadeaway. Rebounded by O'Neal. Not a good shot by Kobe.
But again, you could see started to isolate, and Shaq was waiting right there on the block for him.
Here's Wade. Kobe Bryant 0 for 5 from the field in this third quarter. Atkins, bullet pass, broken up by Laettner, recovered by Bryant, and he's fouled. So Kobe heads back to the line.
The break was mishandled a little bit by Chucky Atkins. Had a 3-on-2, but Dooling did a nice job of getting in Chucky Atkins' way, kind of cutting off that pass to Butler, and by the time he made the pass, really wasn't there. Fortunately for the Lakers, Kobe ends up with the ball and gets fouled. 2 free throws.
Foul on Laettner, his third. 22 points for Bryant. 6 of 7 at the line. Miami by 3. They led by as many as 11. Wade using the screen. Eddie Jones. Stan Van Gundy telling us how effective Eddie Jones is when he takes it to the rim. It says it just opens up his entire game and affects his perimeter shooting.
I think it's been a difficult transition for him this year, Marv, because as we see Grant knock down the 18-footer, Eddie Jones has been the Heat's leading scorer for the last 4 seasons. Now all of a sudden he's not only a second option, but really a third option behind Wade and Shaq. So the aggressiveness is what's key for him, and he's finding that as the season goes on.
And Odom is fouled off the steal. Wade lost it. Foul on Laettner. That is number 4, and a timeout is called with 2:19 left in the third. Miami by 3.
Driving in, and that's swatted it all the way down I-75.
5-star front crash test rating.
It's the only minivan with Stone-Go seating, and I got 0% financing.
My 300, 2005 Motor Trend Car of the Year.
It's got a lot of storage.
We got a great deal on it.
Hurry in now and join over 1 million proud new owners during the Chrysler Spring Sales Event to get the most award-winning lineup in our history. Get 0% financing plus a March bonus cash allowance for savings of up to $7,400 on Pacifica.
It's the only safe utility vehicle on the road.
In 40 minutes, one of them won't be here anymore. That's just the way the dance is set up. You lose, you die. So to speak. No. You die.
All right, here's one. You're stranded on the aisle. Name 3 things that you want with you.
A beautiful woman, an endless supply of Bud Light, and oh yeah, another beautiful woman. You know?
Hey, Sid. When are you gonna paint the hut?
Not until he builds the raft.
He said he was gonna build the raft yesterday.
Girl, he
but Mama told me not to get stranded out here.
Oh, I got to work on my fantasies.
Fresh, smooth, real Bud Light.
Now this is what I'm talking about.
It's all here.
Is it too much to ask that a business be eager to serve? That they smile when you arrive and thank you when you go? That their floors and restrooms stay clean and tidy? That they stand behind every single item and service they sell? And that they come to you should you ever have the need? Is it too much to ask that a business actually care? We don't think so.
Hey, speaking of getting
Lonzo has appeared in only 6 games.
There was that little Steve Smith move. We can see Steve over there smiling on the Heat bench. He knows that's his move. Keon Dooling just copied it.
Butler lost control. Grant is right there. Grant with the rebound. And Bryant says, let's reset. Butler. Grant with another rebound. Grant scores.
He's got outworked on that possession, Miami did. That's how they're hanging around right now. And I think what LA would like to do is be within striking distance, maybe with the last 6 minutes to go, hoping Kobe can take over the game and make big plays and steal this game on the road.
Ryan Grant with 8.6 of the 8 here in the 3rd quarter.
Lakers have gone to a zone here, trying to cross Miami up a little bit.
Eddie Jones for 3. Odom on the rebound. And Bryant met by Wade. Chucky Atkins. Yes. What a bounce back for Chucky Atkins. The other night, 0 for 6 in 20 minutes in the loss in Philadelphia. He was thrown out, ejected in the 3rd quarter. He's had problems recently picking up early fouls, but he has been the guy leading the Lakers back in the 2nd half.
Remember, he started this game 0 for 4, so Atkins has really come on strong, making 7 of his last 9 shots.
They're trying to take Shaq out of the game here with the zone. He's going to be up to Miami to hit some outside shots or get some offensive rebounds.
And that's what Shaquille O'Neal is doing. That will not count. Foul before the shot attempt. It's on Grant, but Shaq able to keep it alive, and he will head to the foul line.
Well, the important thing is you don't let Shaq dunk the basketball or lay the ball in. When he's struggling from the free throw line, foul him and make him work hard at that line. You see the power of this man. Ryan Grant is very strong. He was hanging on to both of his shoulders, and after the whistle, he still found a way to make that shot.
And you talked about it, Doug. Lakers have done a nice job with this zone, trying to take Shaq out of the game a little bit. And this is how I love to use the zone, or I love when teams do this. Use it judiciously, kind of to throw the team off balance a little bit, maybe throw a little wrinkle in. If you use it too much in the NBA, it's just too easy to pick apart. But if you do it 3 or 4 possessions, it can really change the flow of the game.
Oh, a little bank shot. And Shaq been working on his pop-a shot approach.
Look at Frank Hamlin looking at him, smiling. Those two guys obviously very friendly from when Frank was the assistant here with LA.
Shaq now 3 of 7 at the line. He's hit his last 3. Shandon Anderson is back, coming out for Udonis Haslem. 9 seconds to go in the 3rd. Miami by 2. Final seconds. Atkins trying to use a pick. Atkins nowhere to go. And that is the end of the 3rd quarter. Clock for the Lakers. Pierre Brown, who played briefly in the 1st half. Bryant, guarded by Anderson, a solid defensive player. Kobe lost the handle, able to recover. Medvedenko. Jones for 3. Rebounded by Haslem.
That's a bad possession. Kobe's holding on to the ball too long. He's got to get rid of it sooner and then try to get it back, Steve.
Dooling says we'll regroup. Now Dooling uses the pick from Doliak and scores. Keon Dooling, who has spent extra time working on that outside shot. It's paid off. He says he's concentrated on staying balanced when he takes the jumper rather than fading or drifting to the side.
I think so many young players who are as talented as Dooling sometimes take shooting for granted before they get to the NBA. Then all of a sudden the defense gets so much better that the little details in the technique become much more important.
Miami with a 4-point lead. Dooling again using the screen and hits once again.
And you know, also, Steve, a guy who has great leaping ability sometimes struggles with their shooting because they never jump the same height, and it allows them to drift. They don't get their shoulders squared through the basket. The shot looks good tonight.
Dooling now 6 of 10. He has 13 points. Here's Cook for 3. A quick release by Brian Cook, who can shoot the 3.
Remind me of Del Curry, that one-piece shot catch, and boy, that thing is gone.
By 3 over the Lakers. Wade played on a switch by Cook. Takes the ball away. Here comes Bryant. He has Brown with him. Kobe tried to go behind the back and was hit on a reach-in by Goulding.
See, this is a different look. You talked about it, Doug. You've got really 5 shooters on the floor for Los Angeles. So they're going to spread Miami out, maybe get some penetration from Kobe, try to find guys like Cook or Medvedenko for open shots.
Bryant trying to shoot his way back into it. 0 for 7 in the second half.
It's only going to work, though, if he penetrates.
That's right. You got to set up your shooters right now. Take a little bit of a rest. Here's Dooling going to work once again. But it's up to Kobe now to bring out the best in these guys who are on the floor with him. He's got to get Cook his shots, Medvedenko. These guys are not capable of getting their shots on their own. So Kobe can get in that lane and find these guys and then finish the last 3 minutes of the game.
Foul was called on Medvedenko. Goulding to the line. Reminder, national coverage of the NBA continues this week. Tomorrow on ESPN2. It's the Lakers and the Pacers starting at 7:30. Lakers concluding the 6-game road trip. Then they'll be back home for Seattle on Sunday night. Tough run. Saturday on NBA TV, the Bulls and Sixers at 7:30. Sunday on ABC, regional action starting 3:30 Eastern Time. Spurs and the Pistons or the Suns and the Grizzlies. Brown did not hit. Wade is on it. Goulding met by Jermaine Jones. Goulding with the hesitation move is blocked by Medvedenko. The foul is on Slava Medvedenko.
Marv, you were talking a while ago about the Indiana Pacers. How about all the tribulations that team has gone through this year? Now there's possibility they've lost Jermaine O'Neal for the rest of the year. What a job Rick Carlisle has done keeping that team in the playoff hunt. I mean, they've lost basically Ron Artest all year, Steven Jackson, Jermaine O'Neal. Tinsley's been in and out with injuries. I mean, if they make the playoffs, that will be maybe as good a coaching job as anybody all season long.
I agree. Incredible job by Carlisle, and they're just trying to make it through the season at this point.
Wade, yes. 21 points for Dwayne Wade. Miami now leads by 7.
And Kobe has gone to the bench, so very unorthodox lineup here for the Lakers. They'll try to do more of this.
As Brian Cook with his 2nd straight from downtown.
That kid can really shoot the ball.
He can. Reminds me a little bit of Sam Perkins. Much quicker release, but remember late in Sam's career, he just stepped about 38 feet away from that hoop and just knocked down jumper after jumper.
Luke Walton coming in for Kobe Bryant. Here's Wade on a fade. We're seeing some spectacular shooting at both ends.
I am absolutely amazed at how well Dwayne Wade is shooting the basketball. This summer, he could not make a 15-foot shot.
Cook, Medvedenko, Walton, Jones, and Brown on the floor for the Lakers. They turn it over. Wade is on it. Wade had nowhere to go, and he got it to Goulding, who took a shot inadvertently from Cook. So the Lakers committing their 4th team foul.
So with Brian Cook, there is no such thing as screen and roll. This is pick and pop, the quick release. We've seen 2 of those, and then Dwayne Wade, so confident in that outside shot. Then he drives it, gets to the line, got a complete game.
And 0 for 7 from the field in the second half. And Doug, the last 3 games at Washington, at Philly, and tonight, in the second half, he has shot just 2 for 25.
I think a lot of that is, Marv, he works so hard now to get shots. Teams are loading up. There's no drop that ball in the post and work off the basketball. And you're going to see the little fadeaway jump shot. Had he penetrated, Shaq was standing there waiting for him. This shot under duress by Shandon Anderson. They've run 2 or 3 different defenders at him, contested his shots, made him work hard. They've kept him off the foul line. And with all that said, Lakers are still hanging around here and down only 6 points.
I thought he had an opportunity there with Shaq on the bench to really attack the hole and get to the foul line, which he does so well. But you saw in that package, everything was fading away from the basket.
And the foul is called on Lamar Odom. Kobe Bryant has made his return. Look at Kobe's stat line. He had the strong first half, 21 points in the first half. But he's come up with zip thus far in the second half.
Marv, he's always been such a great closer. But remember now, playing with Shaq, he could sort of go through the game, let the offense come to him, didn't have to work so hard, didn't have to create shots so much for other people. He was a recipient of a lot of that. Now, he either has to get his shot or create for somebody else, and it takes a lot out of him.
And he's also been guarding Dwayne Wade for much of the night. So you're right, he has to do so much on the floor for these guys.
7-point Miami lead. Shannon Anderson continues to defend on Kobe Bryant. Deflected out by Odom.
You run 3 or 4 different guys at him. Shannon Anderson, 6'7", strong and athletic. He's played against Dwayne Wade tonight. He's had Eddie Jones playing him. He's had 3 or 4 different looks. That wears you down after a while.
Shaq getting position on Grant. It counts. And the foul. Jermaine Jones came over trying to help out. So O'Neal with the bucket and heads to the line.
If you're Brian Grant, what do you do here? Well, I mean, he keeps great position here. Shaq just bowls over him.
He disappears is what happens.
He's gone. Where'd he go?
Gets behind him, you can't see him.
He is 3 of 8 at the line. He's hit his last 3 after missing his first 5. And once again, a lane violation. Shaq has that herky-jerky motion and undoubtedly leads the NBA in drawing lane violations.
Remember like Anthony Mason used to do. Remember everybody would fall in the lane when he started to shoot his free throws?
Imagine how bad his free throw percentage would be if those actually counted.
Oh, boy. You know, the Shaq affected guys. You were here last week against Minnesota. Minnesota was playing with about a 2-point game in the fourth quarter. Just his presence just wore down the Timberwolves. Is that going to happen here tonight with the Lakers?
And Jones fires the 3. Scooped up by Dooling. There's Dooling accelerating and a foul. Lakers over the limit, so Dooling will shoot 2.
That's what happens too with Shaq and Wade. You get into penalty early, and now you got to make sure the right guys get to the line. Dooling is a good free throw shooter. Keep attacking that basket. Wade, Eddie Jones has them. All these guys are good free throw shooters.
Keon Dooling in his 5th season out of Missouri, spent 4 years with the Los Angeles Clippers. First round pick and the number 10 selection overall 5 years back. Reminder coming up next, it'll be game 2 of tonight's TNT doubleheader. It's the Sacramento Kings and the Golden State Warriors from the Bay Area from Oakland, followed by inside the NBA. The guys right here at the arena.
I think we're going to know, Steve Marvin, in the next 5 games what the Lakers' playoff chances are going to look like. They're going to finish up this trip. They go home. They've got some tough games, and we're going to find out whether or not they're going to be able to contend or fall by the wayside.
There's Bryant getting it back out to Atkins. Atkins lost it.
You know, this is a blueprint for so many of Miami's victories this year. They just wear you down. And when you continue to go into Shaq, you put so much pressure on the defense, and you get to the foul line over and over again. You control the tempo.
What a play by Anderson, getting it to Haslem. Haslem with the rebound, pops it out. Dooling for 3. Atkins pulls it back. Bryant gets the pick. Atkins from downtown.
The legs are gone. It's like a weary fighter right now. You've been hitting the ribs long enough. Your hands are down. It's like there's no defense anymore.
That's the effect that Shaq has.
No question.
Keon Dooling, 17 points in 19 minutes of play. Shannon Anderson, stolen by Kobe Bryant. Atkins, rejected. Eddie Jones got the hand on it. Excellent defense here by the Heat in the fourth quarter.
I'll tell you what's been impressive to me tonight, Doug, is the Heat have made pushes several times in this game, both without Shaq on the floor and without Dwayne Wade. They've gotten so much better with their balance.
Well, Shaq wanted to put that one down, but Grant got a piece of it. And Kobe is fouled. Foul committed by Anderson, leading to a timeout. 5 minutes, 5 seconds remaining in the fourth, and Miami in command.
Is it the people?
Get on your knees.
The plot twists?
Then why did you kill her?
Or is it that sound? See what makes Law & Order television's best drama. Tomorrow night, starting at 7 on TNT.
Ding! You are now free to dip your toes in the ocean.
Ding!
Ding!
You are now free to see an old friend.
To forget what traffic sounds like.
Free to find your favorite state flower. Ding! Ding!
That ding is just cracking me up. You are now free to get a low fare, even at the last minute.
Ding!
Ding!
You are now free to follow your favorite team.
Ding!
Ding!
You're now free to enjoy low fares coast to coast.
With frequent nonstops to 59 cities.
You are now free to move about the country.
There's something evil in my house.
On April 15th, the windows are the eyes to its soul. The Amityville Horror, rated R, starts Friday, April 15th.
The entirely new LR3 by Land Rover. There's a destination for everyone.
What is taste loss?
Am I at risk?
I thought the government wiped out taste loss in the 1950s.
If you have questions, we have the answers for you.
How can we fight taste loss?
I will be the first to set foot on the field, and I will be the last to step off.
Based on a true story.
I want you to attack.
Don't miss Mel Gibson in We Were Soldiers. Tomorrow night at 8 on TNT.
Back in Miami, if the Heat can hold on and beat the Lakers, they'll go to 51-16. They'll have the best record in the NBA by a half game over San Antonio and a full game over Phoenix.
Well, you look at the schedule down the stretch, and this is something Stan Van Gundy talked about. Only 16 games left for Miami, which is going to give them a great opportunity to rest some people and get some practice time, and really bodes well for them.
Here's Atkins for three. Chucky Atkins bringing the Lakers with an 8.
Well, before he made that shot, Marv, Cook was 2 for 2 from 3. The rest of the team 0 for 9 in the quarter. Dooling had actually outscored the Lakers himself 8-6 before that field goal.
Collapse on O'Neal. There's Shaq going glass. Nice move over Odom.
Well, sometimes when you play a zone, you end up with a mismatch down on the block. Lamar Odom having to guard O'Neal. No way he can cover him there.
21 points, 12 rebounds for Shaquille O'Neal. Once again, Grant is open. Tip missed by Butler. Here's Wade. Oh, nice pass. Haslem is fouled.
But you take that little rest, you're Dwayne Wade, you go to Shaq, Dooling has been carried, now you come in, now this guy's rested, and now he's into another gear. So that's what you're sort of seeing, the lack of depth of the Lakers too. They just have not been able to match the bench. Look at this no-look pass. Udonis Haslem normally finishes these. He's had a tough night shooting, but he's had a very good year, one of the top field goal shooters in the league. He's an excellent free throw shooter, and he does a great job playing off Shaq. You see tonight 0 for 6, normally a very, very good shooter. It's one of those nights he has not made his open jumper.
And that is his first point of the game. You can see Udonis shaking his head.
It's incredible to see highlights of Haslam at Florida. He had about 70 more pounds on that frame.
Yes.
And was undrafted, very disappointed, went over to Europe to play and did an amazing job of really dedicating himself to conditioning and shedding 70 pounds and really becoming a heck of a player for Miami.
And it's been a nice run for Udonis' high school team here in Miami, winning a championship. University of Florida's alma mater taking the SEC. Wade, trapped, turning, not able to score. The tip is good.
Doug, is there a better rebounding guard right now in the NBA? If there is, I can't think of it.
Especially an undersized guard. I mean, look, what is he, 6'3"? He's got very long arms. He's so explosive. Kobe still has not found the mark. Talking about Udonis Haslam and being in shape and how much weight he's lost, the one thing about this Miami Heat organization, as long as Pat Riley's the president, Stan Van Gundy's here, this is going to be a very well, highly conditioned team. They're not going to get outworked or play against a team that's going to be in better shape.
Well, look at Shaq. You know, he's lost probably 25, 30 pounds since a year ago. And it's one thing just to say we're going to dedicate ourselves to conditioning, but Pat Riley has a program in place. If you don't play in the game, you got to get on that bike afterwards, after every game, get your 20 to 30 minutes of conditioning in. So they do more than just talk about it.
Well, each guy, I think, has got his own bike, and they got these computer chips. So you can't cheat the system. If you're not riding it, you better get somebody to ride it for you.
Big brother's watching.
That's exactly right. It's going to the little computer up in Riley's office. He said, I know exactly how much you rode today.
And the Lakers will talk it over. 3:12 remaining in the fourth quarter. Miami by 14. Miami Heat on the way to making it 2 out of 2 over Kobe and the Lakers. Miami winning in overtime in LA on Christmas Day. And flashing back prior to the opening tip this evening, there was let's say a degree of acknowledgement. You see Kobe with the pat and teammate Chris Bim, and then extending to O'Neal, but they whiffed on the contact.
Very fitting, isn't it? They, you know, just like last year, they never could quite come together. A very awkward moment between those two.
Shaq also with 4 blocked shots, and what a performance by Dwayne Wade, 25 points. 8 rebounds. Kobe's silent in the second half. He is 0 for 9 from the field in the second half. Here's Cook for 3. Wow.
He can shoot that ball, but Marvin, talk about Shaq's presence. 42 to 26 now, points in the paint for the Heat, plus 16. So they just worn him down inside.
Ryan Cook with his third from downtown all here in the fourth quarter. O'Neal from Wade. Miami Heat on their way to their 11th straight win, 18 of the last 20. 14 straight at home, which will equal a franchise record. They'll go 29-5 here at home. Meanwhile, for the Lakers, the battle for that 8th and final playoff spot, tougher and tougher. The schedule not in their favor. O'Neal again from Wade.
Well, they're trying to play zone, and nobody on that weak side is coming over to help. But Shaq's having a dunk fest here right now. Dwayne Wade is driving in there and handing the ball. Points in the paint now, plus 18 for Miami.
And it was just plus 4 at halftime. So it's plus 14 in the second half. And as you talked about, Doug, they just wear on you time and time again going into Shaq. And as for the Lakers, they're on the outside looking in right now. About to fall game and a half behind Denver, 2 in the loss column. They've got a huge game in Denver next week. So an uphill climb for Los Angeles.
Tomorrow night they play the Pacers in Indianapolis, completing the 6-game road trip, and then back home to the Sonics on Sunday. David Jones from downtown. He has 8 points. Miami 97, Los Angeles 81. Bryant with nowhere to go. It's deflected out. Last touch by Miami with 1 minute and 41 remaining in this fourth quarter.
You know, talked about the Lakers this year might not make the playoffs. But if you look at their roster, Kobe finally looking to try to get on the board with a field goal. Finally hits his first shot of the second half, now 1 of 10. But as you look out there, Steve and Marv, how are they going to get better for next year? It's going to have to be internal growth. It's going to have to be Butler and Odom are going to have to play better with Kobe. But I don't know how they're going to change the team.
Jones off the mark. And the rebound is saved by Lamar Odom.
Well, you talked earlier, Doug, about the steals, the lack of steals as Butler gets the easy dunk. 30th in the NBA in terms of forcing turnovers. I think, with this tight team, you've got to get a point guard who can really pressure up and down the floor. Remember, they tried to get Marcus Banks from Boston before the Payton trade was voided and reconstructed. And there you see a steal, but too little, too late for Los Angeles. But I just think they've got to be able to put a little better pressure on the ball to take advantage of some of these athletes on the wings.
Atkins knocks down a 3, and Stan Van Gundy not happy. Takes a timeout as the Lakers are now down by 8 with a minute remaining in this fourth quarter. Just a moment ago, there was a 16-point Miami lead.
In the West, the Kings have let go of their past and are looking toward the future. Now, Mike Bibby, Peja Stojakovic, and the rest of the new-look Kings will rely on the intense loyalty of their irreplaceable fans.
This place is going crazy.
To push them all the way to their first NBA title. The Kings take on the Warriors next on TNT.
How long have you two been together?
Teresa
Collins, Craig Sager, minute left in the fourth quarter. Miami a moment ago leading by as many as 16, but the Lakers hanging in, down by 8. Chucky Atkins once again finds the range.
Well, and Doug, you've seen it dozens of times, I'm sure. I mean, an 8-point lead in a minute is surmountable. They can do it. It's happened before. We saw it with Tracy McGrady earlier this year, a 10-point deficit in the last 40 seconds. But they've got to force a steal. You see Shaq is still on the floor. They may be able to foul him, but they can't do it intentionally. So they've got to be able to force a turnover here.
And as you saw, the Lakers over the foul limit, so Wade will go to the line. Miami has a foul to give. Now on Butler.
Steve, we talked today in our production meeting. We talked about 2 areas to watch in this game tonight. Points in the paint for Miami, of which they're plus 16 now, 46-30, and 3-point shooting for the Lakers. 10 of 24. Once again, they've taken 24 threes. Miami 4 of 18, so they've hit 6 more threes. So they're plus 24 at the 3-point line, but they've lost the battle of the paint and the battle of the free throw line. So that has really been the disparity, just the wearing them out inside and getting those high percentage shots. And once again, the Lakers, they got back in the game a little bit. They were 6 of 10 in this quarter shooting threes, but still getting nothing easy in the basket area.
Crowd responds as Shaquille O'Neal hits back to the bench. 25 points, 11 of 19 from the field, plus 12 rebounds and 4 blocks. He could return, though.
See what they'll do here is any screen roll, they can just switch it so that Shaq's not involved, having to play a smaller player.
Off the steal. Miami back in possession. They're up by 9 in no hurry with 45 seconds remaining. Wade pulls it back. Damon Jones. Once again, Jones from downtown. 102.89. Atkins, Cook, down to 25 seconds. And here is Butler. A long night for Caron Butler.
Well, now the Lakers have to get on a plane, regroup, fly to Indiana, who's been resting, finish up a 6-game road trip. They got to get a win if they want to go 500 on the trip, 3-3. They win their first 2. They've lost 3 in a row now. And if they want to stay in any hopes of the playoff race, Marv, they're going to have to beat Indiana tomorrow night.
While Miami in a stretch playing 7 of 9 at home. They have now defeated the Lakers 102-89 to make it a sweep of the two-game season series. Miami 51-16, 11 straight wins, 18 of the last 20, and they've tied a franchise record with 14 straight at home. Dwayne Wade, 27 points, 8 rebounds. Shaquille O'Neal, 25 points, 12 rebounds, and 4 blocked shots. Let's go to Craig with Shaq.
Well, Shaq, the winning streak is now 11, just like the game a week ago, close until the fourth quarter when you guys seem to wear people down. Do you sense that when you see that how well you guys can play in the fourth quarter?
Well, ever since I came here, I told my guys there's going to be 2 types of games. Games when we start out fast, we have to maintain it, or games when we start out slow, we have to pick it up. Tonight we started out a little slow. So my guys, we kept our forwards, we kept getting the ball inside out, we kept playing good team basketball, and we were able to wear them down.
Kobe Bryant had 21 points in the first half, but he was 0 for 10 in the second half. What did you guys talk about at halftime, and how were you able to shut him down?
Well, we just wanted to smother him on the pick and roll and make him give it up, and he gave it up. But, you know, it's not about scoring points, it's about playing that good team basketball, and that's what we do over here.
I know there's nothing else you can say about the relationship with you and Kobe or L.A., but before the game there was an attempted handshake between you two. How did that go?
I'm a married man. I don't want to have a relationship with another man. Okay? Stop asking me that. All right?
You got it. Alonzo Mourning, your teammate, said he thought that the Miami Heat could win the rest of the games, win out. Is that just wishful thinking, or is the confidence level that high?
We just have to take one game at a time, play every game. And I'm sure if we do everything right, anything is possible, but we're not really worried about that right now. We're just worried about one game at a time.
All right, thanks a lot. Now let's go back tomorrow.
All right, Craig, and Shaquille O'Neal with 25 and 12 against his former team. Kobe Bryant with 26 ended up 1 of 11 from the field in the second half. He hit that 3 late in the fourth quarter. So Miami now 51-16. The Lakers now 32-32. They've dropped 3 in a row, and they have dropped 8 of their last 12. Again, the final score, the Heat 102, Lakers 89. Thanks to our producer, Scooter Bertito, director Renardo Lowe, and our statistician, Paul Evans. For Greg Sager and Steve Kerr, Doug Collins, our entire crew, I'm Marv Albert saying good.